baik tu dia jadi mereka tahu रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
In the news tonight, community members join hands to fight crime. Travel companies buckle amid COVID-19 crisis. And FNPF members warned.
From the studios of FPC Sports, Jackie Smith.
Members of the Bayview Heights community in Suva have joined hands to support police to get rid of criminal elements in the area. The Bayview Heights Council Neighbourhood Watch, which was formed a few months ago due to an increase in home invasions and daylight robbery in the area, is now proving a success. Apinisa Wangarandovu visited the community and files this report.
This Viber group, consisting of over 195 members, are always on the lookout for suspicious activities.
So what our members are doing, they're trying to get passing information to each other through the Viber group if they see something unusual happening in this area. And through this, the police were also involved, and the police are part of the Viber group, and if there is anything, the members advise the police.
The neighborhood watch formed the Viber group after they noted an increase in criminal activities, who claim more such incidents have been recorded in the past month. The latest incident occurred in broad daylight on Tuesday when two ladies were returning home after shopping. Intruders are getting into this community through shortcuts and vacant lots like the one behind me.
They cross from Paul Sloan to Samlal, and they are shortcuts from the judo center. So these are the areas which they use to find their way out when they rob someone.
Businessman Charles Wakeham says by working together as community members, they are more alert and better informed of things happening in the area.
I myself, when I got into the Viber group with the rest of the residents, I now know who lives where. So it's something that other communities should also follow.
Wakeham says police have also been working closely with them, carrying out regular patrols, as they are also connected to the neighborhood watch through the Viber group. Apinisa Wangarandovu, FBC News.
Once a multi-million-dollar agency, it's now come to a standstill. The travel agencies are reeling from the impacts of COVID-19 with cancellation of vast majority of flights and tourism bookings. Some travel agencies say they started feeling the trickle-down effects of the pandemic since last December, as many Fijians postponed their travel plans. Pranita Prakash with the story.
On any normal day, this office would be bustling with staff and customers. But with no flights and bookings to be made, there is no work for them.
We have over 30 people working for us, and no one has yet lost the job. But yes, of course, we have people who are on leave without pay.
9 people employed. None of us have lost our jobs. The directors have put the staff on 50% reduced hours and wages, which will be reviewed towards the end of May.
There's a couple of staff who work from home in case there is some need. But there is no work, by the way.
Travel agents are incurring substantial losses as several bookings have been cancelled, and there is no concrete time frame on when international flights will resume again.
We have lost about $8 million of loan revenue. We lost about, say, $800,000 of gross profit. And currently we are facing $80,000 operating loss.
We can't give an exact figure, but about 30% of our annual sales has been affected.
For these travel agents to remain in business, the only hope is that the pandemic will end soon and people will start traveling again. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Workers and employers are being urged to be honest when it comes to Fiji National Provident Fund assistance related to COVID-19. The fund has recorded numerous incidents where people who do not qualify for the assistance have made applications. Ritika Pratap reports.
Fijians have been urged to maintain integrity and honesty when applying for FNPF assistance.
which has been rolled out in light of COVID-19.
We're already seeing some people who are sort of, trying to get assistance, but, they're trying to be themselves opportunistic, trying to make claims to FNPF when they're really not entitled to it.
Syed Kayum says the effects of COVID-19 will be felt for some time.
So we please urge everybody, please, this is going to be a long haul. We need to think laterally, we need to think strategically, we need to think, as a nation, as the Honourable Prime Minister said, and to be able to get over this particular phase. And if we're able to do that, then obviously we'll come out a lot better.
FNPF Chief Financial Officer Pravinesh Singh says in some instances, employers have been provided fraudulent letters by their employees in order to benefit from the scheme.
We also would like to let the employers know that there is a section in the form where they need to indemnify. So please do not get pressured by your employees in providing false information or giving false letters. This is not an opportunity to profit from the systems that is been rolled out by FNPF and the government.
FNPF has paid out over $18 million as of last week in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Members only qualify for FNPF assistance if they have been terminated, are working on reduced pay or hours, have been sent on leave without pay or are on indefinite leave. Ritika Pratap, FPC News.
The COVID-19 pandemic is increasingly disrupting countless industries across the world due to the effects of the growing global economic crisis. However, for the media sector, the virus is ironically creating both opportunities and challenges. Apinisa Wangarandovu reports that while mainstream media consumption has seen a massive increase since the wake of the pandemic, the industry faces critical revenue challenges as advertising and sponsorship dollars disappear almost overnight.
It's a situation that's affecting all media outlets.
It's not only the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation, but all other media organizations we know are facing very difficult times. Advertising is trickled down to almost nothing in some cases.
However, FBC Chief Executive Riyaz Syed Kayum says smaller marketing budgets are now pushing media outlets to create new ideas to help cushion the impact.
We have put together ways and means and ideas of putting proposals to clients through which we'll be able to attract more advertising. The public will go after the brands and the products that have kept on advertising throughout this COVID-19 period, and they will not pay attention to the ones who haven't advertised because they haven't been on top of people's minds.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Sun is coming to terms with a 20% salary reduction as the print business has also not been spared.
In addition to that, that staff are also working on reduced hours. But with these measures, we've tried to keep everyone working.
Dobi Berata says clients are now not forthcoming, which is a challenge.
They're holding back in terms of their marketing budget, and they're tightening up as well. So we are at the end of the line where we are feeling the brunt of it as well.
We've got to be very understanding to the clients. The clients are very important, for us in our business, for advertising, for outdoor. So we just work with them, and we welcome any cancellation that comes in, and we just want to assure them that be positive when this pandemic is over. We'll start again.
They're less trusting of social media and more trusting of traditional media for news and information. So it's bad news. The initial reaction was yes, businesses, houses all over the world are cutting back on marketing and advertising. But the good news is that more and more people are watching traditional media, especially television, listening to radio, and what that's going to do eventually is it's going to bring back advertisers back to television and back to radio and back to broadcast.
Fiji Times and Fiji TV didn't want to comment on their business downturn, but FBC News understands that some traditional outlets that don't have a substantial market share have now resorted to slashing advertising rates to unprecedented lows, rates that could soon prove to be unsustainable for the overall survival of these media outlets. Apinisa Wangarandovu, FBC News.
Up ahead, Barter page hit among locals. And we take a look at a musician's successful life journey. Details after the break.
Nadang bawa perasaan kerja, gor keraki, do televisi na barong na radio Fiji One, nandom ibit.
Radio Fiji One, nandom.
With social gathering restrictions to be relaxed to some extent, Fijians have been urged to remain responsible. From tomorrow, social gatherings of 20 people or fewer will be allowed. Health Minister Dr. Firemi Wangainabete says today marks the 39th day since Fiji's first COVID-19 case was confirmed. He also says it's 8 days since our last confirmed case was recorded. He is urging people to strictly adhere to the precautionary measures in place.
Everybody must play their part. So even though the restrictions has moved back on the day that the curfew will go to 10 p.m., it doesn't mean that we congregate and we stay very close to one another. We must continue to practice social distancing. That is an important part. We must continue to do it.
Fiji may face a shortage of rice in the coming months with a 30% increase in the market rate for imported rice. 85% of Fiji's rice is imported from Vietnam and Thailand. Kritika Kumar reports.
There may be shortage of rice if actions are not taken now.
The farmers, we have been requesting and pleading to the farmers, please plant rice for your own consumption. We may have shortage of rice.
Fiji imports most of its rice for local consumption, but to an increase in the market rate, this will become more costly. Raj says they are looking at avenues to boost local production.
We have identified a farmer in Reki with 200 acres of non-cane land that they intend to give it to us.
Last year, Fiji imported over $42 million worth of rice, which is equivalent to around 40,000 metric tons.
Historically, we have achieved the maximum about 66% of self-sufficiency of rice production, but we have gone down now.
The Ministry of Agriculture has announced a national rice assistance package to ensure Fiji gradually achieves self-reliance in rice production. Under this package, sugarcane farmers will be given rice seedlings, which can be planted in cane fields. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Barter for Better Fiji is a public Facebook page that was set up on Tuesday night and has close to 30,000 members and counting. Page founder Marlene Dutta says the purpose behind the project is a personal one, where she wanted to initiate a space for Fijians to exchange goods with others with a no-cash policy in place. Maggie Boyle with the story.
For Marlene Dutta, Barter for Better Fiji is more than the adage, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
A lot of us, we have things accumulated, piled up that we may or may not even use or need anymore, which for somebody else could make a difference in their life.
In 1805, the trade of goods was commonplace here in Nambokolo Creek. You would have Fijians coming in from the islands to trade their fish and root crops with Europeans here for tools and other necessities. It appears 200 years later that barter system is re-emerging, albeit on social media.
Some of the more common trades have seen the exchange of baked goods for seedlings, wine for books, coconuts for root crops. There have been also exchanges that tug at the heartstrings, people giving things away for free. A mother wanting to trade her hairdryer for baby formula.
The way people are engaging within the group, the positivity, the light, it's been joyous actually to try and administer this process and to help facilitate some of these things.
And with the page's growing interest, the future for this space looks promising.
Even when everything's back to whatever normal is, but we'll just something that we can do just to help people share the Earth's resources in a more meaningful way.
Among some of the more standout exchanges so far has been a kayak for a whole live pig. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Humility and hard work will pave the way to success. This is the sentiment of renowned local artist, songwriter and music composer Simone Vuatelevu. Venina Rakautonga with tonight's success story.
Simone Vuatalevu is well known for his award-winning songs from the 1980s.
In my music career, I started back in 19 when I left school, and all my dream is to be successful. I think that I've achieved a lot of things too in my musical career, winning awards here locally and also internationally. So I feel that I had achieved a lot of things in life.
Vuatalevu, who is from Mavana village in Vanuambalavu, Lau, moved to the capital city in his prime years. He attended Ratu Sukuna Memorial School, and that's where he first discovered his singing talent.
Because you know the concept that you have in school, in our form, our form teacher was Nelson Delelo Moloma, who passed away. He said, Simone, because they always hear me singing and I'm banging the table. He always growled at me, and I said, stop and start singing again. And he said, okay, I see that you are interested in singing, so you sing a song, item for our form. So this is when I sang one of the old song, Claude King's song, Wolverton Mountain. So I sang, and two of my classmates play the guitar. So that was our item, and that was the first time too that I stood on the stage and in front of the teachers and the students, and I started singing.
He says the appreciation from his fellow classmates boosted his morale, and he began focusing more on his music. Vuatalevu has had many achievements in his career. He received international recognition in 1998.
I think when winning awards here, I mean something that's great. I mean a few awards, composition that I won here through the music, the music awards. But the biggest moment is achieving the international songwriting competition. This is the USA songwriting competition. That was in 1998, and also in the same year, I was one of the finalists in the South Pacific International Song Contest in Gold Coast, Australia. So those are the biggest moments to me.
Now a retired civil servant, Vuatalevu continues with his passion, composing songs, and his favorite pastime is gardening.
Now that you should be relaxing and enjoying your past, and up to now, you retired from work, and now just continue in singing, because singing is something that I think it's only when God says that's enough, Simone, because singing you can continue until you are called.
Vuatalevu says he will never stop doing what he loves. He is part of one of the longest running bands in Fiji, the Queen Tikis, and is currently working on an album he hopes to release soon. Venina Rakotonga, FPC News.
In sports after the break, tough choice for women rugby players. And enough funding for Olympics, says Maisie.
My name is Neha and I'm from Karavi, and Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Seven-star Lavinia Thinai has a tough decision to make, either play in the Olympic Games or the Women's Rugby World Cup. World Rugby has confirmed that the World Cup date will remain September 18th, 2021. This gives players only 6 weeks to recover from the postponed Tokyo Olympic Games, which now will be played from 23rd July to 8th August next year. Karolaini Tavi with the details.
Thinai, who plays both code rugby, is aware that the final decision will come from the coaches.
Just need to perform, and if there is a new layout, that will be a tough decision to do. You would like to play on both 7s and 15s.
Fiji Rugby Union Chief Executive John O'Connor says players will have to prioritize which code they will want to play for.
As such, I think, now that dates have been confirmed, we just have to plan accordingly, and players will then have to prioritize which program they want to be in, and then we will prepare for both the programs, the World Cup and likewise the Olympics.
Tinai, along with Rusila Nangasau, were part of the team that helped the Fijiana qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games in sevens and the first ever Rugby World Cup in 15s. Karleni Tavi, FPC Sports.
The Fiji Airways national men's sevens coach Gareth Baber is confident with the plan in place in their bid to retain the HSBC title come September. One of the Welshmen's main concerns is players deviating from training amid the restrictions in place. Baber says they have plans on what needs to be done post-COVID-19.
Quite confident, and we know the planning that these boys need to do. We know the levels they've got to be at to play in a World Series and to win a gold medal in the Olympics. So, we're pretty much planned around what we need to do coming out of the COVID-19 times and what we need to do to get back on and win the series.
The Fiji National Sports Commission has assured that funds are still available for those sports taking part in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Chair Peter Maisie says the funding will run until July 31st, while the request for the next fiscal year is still yet to be submitted. Maisie says due to the cancellation of sporting events since March, they have reverted some funds to the Olympic Games Committee.
And the sad part was we were going to have the Oceania swimming competition, so we've given them that funding which they have now returned to us. So we do have some funding there to assist if we have to move into additional funding to any of our Olympic sports going forward.
Team Fiji has so far secured spots in sevens rugby, athletics and swimming for the Games, which is scheduled from 23rd July to 8th August 2021. Fresh doubts have emerged around the viability of the National Rugby League's plans. Broadcasters Fox and Channel 9 have agreed to the May 28th start date, but COVID-19 restrictions could still be a stumbling block to that happening. Taking a look at the weather, a trough of low pressure lies to the south of the Solomon Islands and extends over Fiji and Tonga. Looking to the west, fine apart from afternoon or evening showers and thunderstorms. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, mostly cloudy and humid, heavy showers experienced late this afternoon. And up north, a mixture of sun and clouds. At sea, east to southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, moderate seas. Turning to the tides, high tide at 9:08 p.m. with low tide at 2:59 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 6:19. For tomorrow, it will remain cloudy and rain is expected in most centres. Tomorrow's temperatures, it'll be mostly humid with temperatures to remain in the low 30s. And further outlook, we're looking out to Tuesday. Expect much of the similar conditions. Recapping the main stories for tonight, community members join hands to fight crime. Travel companies buckle amid COVID-19 crisis, and FNPF members warn to fill applications with honesty. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question, we're asking, should banks consider a loan repayment holiday for at least a year? Visit our FBC website to answer. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News, our Twitter page at FBC_news, or simply hashtag FBC News. And that's it from the news desk this evening. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable evening. Good night.
I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.